Bonjour, today we are going to practice qui and que in French, so the relative pronouns. Before I start, if you want the support guide to this lesson, click on the join button down below. Right, let's have a look at the difference between que and qui before we get to practice this relative pronoun ou pronom relative. Now, have a look at that. When we use qui always is followed by a verb, okay? So qui means who or which or that. Qui can refer to a person or an object, and qui is always followed by a verb. So have a look at this example. La fille qui parle avec Tom s'appelle Natacha. So, la fille qui, and here is qui. So translation, the girl who is talking with Tom is called Natasha. Qui is the subject of the action. So in other words, qui does the action. So who does the action in that sentence? It is la fille. So miss out the qui. So la fille parle avec Tom. And the fact that this verb is directly linked to this subject means that we have to use qui in the middle if we wanted, obviously, to use the relative pronouns as who, which, or that. La fille qui parle avec Tom s'appelle Natacha. The girl who is talking with Tom is called Natasha. Okay? Have a look at this example. Nous prenons le train qui part à 10 heures. Nous prenons le train, and here's qui again, qui part à 10 heures. We are taking the train which leaves at 10 a.m. Okay? Now remember that qui can be translated as who or which or that. Okay? Have a look at the subject of this sentence, as in not nous, because nous prenons is another clause, okay, but le train part, okay? And the fact that le train is directly connected to the verb, we need to use a pronom relatif qui and not que. I will show you the difference in a minute before we get to practice that, okay? So, we are taking the train which leaves at 10 a.m. So, what you need to remember about qui is that it means who, which, or that. Tick. It can refer to people and object. Tick. Qui is followed by a verb. Tick. Qui is the subject of the action. In other words, qui does the action. Tick. Qui never becomes que, that's another thing, Q-U apostrophe, in front of a vowel, okay? So you can't contract it, okay? Now let's have a look at que. So if qui does that, and that means who, which does, what does que mean? Que means which and that as well, and it means whom, okay? Now what you have to understand about que is that que can refer to people and object, so person and object, but que is always followed by a noun and not a verb, and that's the difference, okay? And que is the object of the action and not the subject of the action, okay? So let's have a look at the example I have here. Now, que. Le livre que, and here's que, j'ai acheté est intéressant. The book which or that I bought is interesting. So, have a look at what follows this pronom relative. It is je. Can you see that? It is not a verb. It is a pronoun or a noun, okay? So, le livre que j'ai acheté. Now, when I mean that it's the object of the action, it's exactly what it is here. Because have a look at j'ai acheté, I bought. I bought what? That's the complement, objet. I bought the book. It is not directly linked to the verb, is it here? But it is the object of that verb. So, le livre que j'ai acheté and not qui j'ai acheté. Okay, because it's not followed by a verb. Now, les pommes. Have a look at les pommes. Les pommes que nous mangeons sont délicieuses. The apples that we are eating are delicious. Okay. Now, les pommes is transferred here. Okay. Because it's the direct objet direct of nous mangeons. And nous is a subject pronoun. So, les pommes que nous mangeons, the apples that we are eating are delicious. Okay? Les pommes que nous mangeons. Can you see that? So, we're going to see that in an example. It's going to become so much clearer. Now, remember that que means whom, which, or that. Que can refer to to people, an object. Que is followed by a noun. Que is the object of the action and not the subject, like qui. Que becomes Q-U apostrophe in front of a vowel, okay? And that is the difference between qui and que. Que can be contracted, okay? And que cannot be omitted. You can't remove it. So that means you can't say les pommes nous mangeons sont délicieuses without the que, okay? So you have to have the relative pronoun que in a sentence. Okay, let's start with our exercise. What is this relative pronoun? Which one would you use? Que or qui? Have a look at that. La radio, something, est sur la table, ne fonctionne pas. Okay? So, what we need to look at is what comes after que or qui. Is this a verb? Is this a noun or a pronoun? Well, here, est means is. So, the radio, which is on the table, does not work. Does not work. Ne fonctionne pas. Should we say que or should we say qui? La radio, qui? Well done. It is definitely qui because qui is always followed by a verb, okay? And it is always the subject to the verb. So indeed, the subject is la radio, is reflected here again, and the verb is here. Can you see that? So it is qui. Number 2. Les personnes nous avons rencontrées hier sont sympas. Okay, so are we talking about que or are we talking about qui? The people that we met yesterday are nice. Okay, so because we have nous here and it's not directly linked to a verb, then we must use que. Les personnes que nous avons rencontrées hier sont sympas. Okay? So you might say, oh, hold on a minute, I'm lost already. No, you're not. Have a look at what comes after this subject, this relative pronoun. Is it A, a verb? In that case, use qui. Is it B, a pronoun or a noun? In that case, use que. Quite simple, okay? So, les personnes que nous avons rencontrées hier. Now, you might wonder why we have a double ES here. It's because we are agreeing this to the gender of que. And the gender of que is worked out by the gender of this. Les personnes is feminine, plural. And you know what? This is quite high-level French here. If you don't want to ignore that, if you don't want to learn that, just ignore that. I'm just pointing this out for you if you just wondered why we have double ES here, okay? Now, there is an explanation on your support guide, by the way, about that. Number 3. Elle regarde une émission qui au que. So here it was que, by the way. Elle regarde une émission qui au que. Okay. Now have a look at the next word, est. And est means is. It's a verb. So it is likely to be, it is more likely, 100% sure that it's qui. She watches a program, une émission de télévision, for example, a program which is boring, ennuyeuse. Sorry about that. Elle regarde une émission qui est ennuyeuse, okay? So she watches a program which is boring, okay? And because it has is directly linked here to une émission, which is the subject of this action here, est ennuyeuse, okay? So, quite simple. Have a look at the last one. Je loue un appartement. Something se trouve près de la gare. Okay. Now, I've chosen this one because it's slightly more tricky. Okay. The reason being is that you have ce. Ce is not a noun. Ce is a pronoun, but not a subject pronoun. Ce is a reflexive pronoun. So it comes directly with the verb, and you should count that as the whole verb. Je loue un appartement, and because it's a verb, we should put qui. Se trouve près de la gare, okay? I am renting a flat which is located near the station, okay? Se trouve. So what you have to be careful is that look at what comes after that. Is it A, a noun, B, a subject pronoun, or could it be a reflexive pronoun such as ce, or je, or me? Non, me, te, ce, nous, vous, and il. And so that, and ce, I beg your pardon. Now, this is where it becomes very complicated, is that when you start using a reflexive pronoun, okay, you've got to understand that it comes attached to the verb, okay, and therefore, before that, you use qui and not que. That's it for me. Click on the join button if you want the support guide and more examples on that support guide. Au revoir, à bientôt, bisous bisous.